Venerable sirs, brothers and sisters in the Dharma, Sukhi Hotu. My name is Jason and I am from BMSM Youth Section. Welcome to Exploring Your Reality series, which is organized by Buddhist Missionary Society, BMSM Youth Section, with Venerable Nyaninda. As mentioned earlier, yes, today is our 13th episode titled Little Nuggets of Practical Wisdom, and also it's exactly about 1 year since we started this series. So it's good that we have come this far. So just as usual, a little bit of reminders. Just use your actual name in the Zoom room. And also, let me just go through the program for today. So we will be taking refuge, followed by a short mindfulness meditation. And then we'll have a quick recap and also the video screening and Dhamma talk. Then we will also follow up by the Q&A session. So brothers and sisters, during the Q&A session, you can either post your questions in the chat box or you could choose to raise your hand and post your questions to Bhante directly as well. With that, I will hand over this session to Brother Susan to lead in the taking of refuge.
Now we will request for 3 refuges and 5 precepts. Aham Bhante Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silam Dhaman Yachami Anugaham Katawa Silam Deta Me Bhante Tudiyampi Aham Bhante Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silam Dhaman Yachami Anugaham Katawa Silam Deta Me Bhante Tatiyampi Aham Bhante Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Silam Dhammam Yachami Anugaham Katawa Silam Deta Me Bhante.
Yamahang Wadami Tam Wadeta.
Mama Bhante.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddham saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tudiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Pisaranena gamanang paripunang.
Amma Bhante.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu miccachara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhaṃ padang samadhiyāmi.
Sura Maraya Maja Pamadattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani sikkhaṃ padang samadhiyāmi.
Idame silang asawa kaya wahang hotu.
Idame silang asavakaya vaham hotu.
Idame silang nibbanasa pacayo hotu.
Idame silang nibbanasa pacayo hotu.
Tisranena saha panca silang damang sadukang katwa apamadena sampadeta.
Ama Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, now we will do short sitting meditation. I just want to keep stressing that the essence or the key for meditation is awareness, to be aware. And the object not so important. Like now, if you are aware that you are sitting down, means you are here, you are present. In a sense, you are meditating. So the key thing is awareness. And today what we'll do is very short. We will go through awareness of all the 5 senses: hearing, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and body sensations. So yeah, so that you get to see awareness through all the different senses we have by just aware only whatever is going on without adding anything extra in it. This is what I call hearing is just hearing, smelling, just smelling, tasting, just tasting, feeling, just feeling. You don't add anything, try not to add anything extra, just be with whatever that's happening at the 5 senses. Okay, we will start by relaxing the whole body. This will keep us away from any tension in the body, but stay awake, alert. Keep the back straight. This will help to stay alert, but remember to be comfortable. You can close your eyes if you want, but if you are sleepy, you can keep your eyes a little open, enough for light to come through your eyes. Or if you want to keep your eyes open, also okay. Relax all your facial muscle. Totally relax the whole body. Get into the mind state that, like, when you have finished all your work and you can totally drop everything or totally drop all your responsibility that you have finished. Get into this totally free mind state. Shift your attention into the space within your body, aware of any discomfort or tension in the body. Let go of any of this discomfort or tension if you can. If you cannot, just accept them as they are. That will also relax it by itself. Start by observing with kind curiosity any sensations on the physical body. Explore all physical sensations in the whole body. Just look and witness. Feel the body as if you are feeling it for the very first time. Let go of all familiar perceptions, ideas, concepts that you have before. Let go of all labelings. Each of us have our own unique way of perceiving physical sensations. Just aware of whatever sensation without labeling, without judgment, without concept. Any sensations in our body, any parts of the body, just aware of it. You might feel the warmth in the body or the subtle contractions of the muscles or the feelings of upper lips resting on the lower lips. Or you might feel the weight of the body or the hardness or softness of the body. Any physical sensation, but aware of each of these physical sensations like an explorer feeling for the very first time. It could be just the feeling of being full from eating dinner. Just simply aware, simply know. Feeling is just feeling, without stories. Let the physical sensations fade away. Slowly move to awareness of sound or vibrations. Fully aware of any sound that enter your ear. Anything that you hear, just aware, be with it. Just aware without labeling, judging, without adding extra story to the sound. Fully be with the awareness of the sound. Hearing is just hearing. Let the sound slowly fade away. Slowly move your awareness to the smell. The smell might be strong, neutral, or even undetectable. It is okay. Any smell at all, just aware. You can be aware of the smell of recently eaten meal, the smell of the wind moving in your room, or your own body smell. Just be with whatever smell. Just aware of any smell without labeling, preference, judging, adding extra story to the smell. Fully be with awareness of the smell. Smelling is just smelling. Let the awareness of smell fade away. Move to the awareness of taste. Pay attention to the sensation in the mouth. Maybe leftover taste of tea or coffee or any food. just the warm or lubricating saliva as you swallow. Just aware of any taste without labeling, preference, judging, adding extra story to the taste. Just observe without comparison. Fully be with the awareness of taste. Tasting is just tasting. Let the perception of taste fade into background and rest in just awareness, just knowing. Now we are ready for the last sense of sight. Before we do that, make the intention that when you open your eyes, try to see everything around you as you are seeing them for the first time. Release all your familiar perceptions, ideas, concepts that you have about the space around you and its contents and occupants. Release even the image of yourself. Try to see every texture, shadow, everything as though for the very first time. Now slowly open your eyes, fully see what is around you, without labeling, preference, judgment, or extra story. Fully be with the awareness of seeing. Seeing is just seeing. Now turn your attention to the mind. You may notice thoughts arising and ceasing. Let thoughts pass through the mind like clouds passing through the sky. Notice without judgment, without attachment, without adding extra story. Just watch the thoughts arising and passing away. See each thought arise, fade away, and aware of the space of the mind where the thoughts arise and fade away. Aware, but don't grasp into anything. Release all thoughts and just rest in the awareness of awareness, just aware basically. Feel your body. If you can feel your body, for those who have closed your eyes, can slowly open your eyes. Okay, today the title is Little Nuggets of Practical Wisdom. Basically, today's sessions, I want to share that when you see wisdom, it's actually, wisdom is for us to recognize, to see. When you see, when you recognize wisdom, immediately a lot of happiness will unfold because you will see the reality of life. And one of it is, if you can see that naturally we already have love, compassion, and wisdom all the time, it will help you easier to allow this love, compassion, and wisdom to manifest in our life. It's there all the time, but if you don't know it, then you won't be able to see it. It's like if you're suddenly interested in a red car, suddenly you see many red cars on the road. So similarly, once you notice, when you see it, it changes in your life, although it's there all the time. So this is what I call effortless effort. You don't need a lot of effort because it's already there. But of course, you need the intention to look at the direction that we are pointing at. Okay. Now, this whole series, I want to keep reminding people that we are exploring the reality or truth of life. We are not trying to memorize things or believing in anything. There's nothing to believe. All of us are exploring together, and we're all learning together and try to see in our everyday life. You can see all this wisdom in the everyday life, not learn it and then leave it in the book. You can use it in your everyday life. So I hope you will try to explore in your daily life and experience for yourself all this truth that we are sharing. Don't believe me. And anyway, there's nothing to believe. And this truth or reality, it's always true, no matter what religion, belief, race, or nationality you are, or whether you're aware or not, or believe or not. It's just like whether you are aware or believe that there is gravity, gravity is there. It doesn't make any difference to gravity. Okay, so same. But the difference is, if you recognize the truth, you can live according to the truth instead of against the truth. So similarly, if you know there's gravity, you can make use of gravity instead of being limited by gravity. So same, okay? But the problem with truth is sometimes it's so simple, like our eyelashes, that you can't see it's right in front of you. For example, impermanence is there all the time. You see impermanence every single second, but most of us don't really recognize it. So you have to at least have the intention to look or explore. Okay, but if you keep exploring like what we are doing, then you have no choice but to see. Okay, every time when we have sharing discussions, each drop of wisdom, slowly you will have one huge bucket or a whole ocean of wisdom. Okay, so today I won't do any recap. I just want to go straight into the different wisdom, different nuggets of practical wisdom that will help us. One wisdom which I keep sharing all the time is, I feel very useful, but I won't go into detail. I will play a very short 2 minutes video on that, is that, which I keep emphasizing, is that we are our own screenwriter, director, and actor, because all the experience we have, that means all our emotions come from our thinking, which means, and our thinking comes from us. So basically we create our world. So we are the screenwriter, we are the director, and we are the actor, and we are the audience also. So if you can really appreciate this fact, life will be much more interesting, and you learn a lot of things through life. So let's play the video, and then you will see this.
Do you ever feel like something or someone is driving you crazy? Maybe it's your boss, or the way you look in those skinny jeans, or the fact that your career isn't where you wanted it to be yet. I find this fascinating because we go through life often forgetting that we're actually the screenwriter, the principal actor, and the director of our own life's dramas. I mean, this is amazing. Our brain has this incredible capacity to create neural pathways and analyze data and sort it and take amazing shortcuts, which is really useful because at least every time that I walk into a room, I can realize that, hey, that thing that has 4 legs is meant to be sat in, and I don't have to consciously think about that all the time. But where this gets us into trouble is the fact that we often think that we're viewing life in an objective and neutral way. And the truth is, we absolutely are never viewing anything objectively. How could we? We're all different physical entities with our own brains, our own histories of thinking, our own moment to moment experience. You can essentially say that each one of us is really living in a separate reality. We literally have this capacity for thought, or another word for thought is interpretation, or perception, or perspective. And people will talk about this like, oh, that's nice. If I change my perspective, maybe I'll feel better. But the truth is, that's all that we have to garner an experience in this life. Our brain is literally sitting in a liquid in an enclosed skull in our heads where it has no direct access to the outside world. It can only rely on signals from the body to interpret. Now, everything I said was really simple. It may seem common sense for you, but this is a great example of the difference between knowing something intellectually and then really knowing something viscerally or experientially. Or to go back to what we talked about earlier, the difference between informational versus transformational learning. If you want to learn more, reach out at amy@amyleo.com. Feel free to reach out, say hello, and share how you see this occurring in your own life. If you are human like myself, I can notice that on the same day, my life's movie can go from being a romantic comedy to a tragedy to borderline horror, back to some type of romantic comedy, all within the same day. And the truth is, it really isn't the circumstances or the people around me or my job, because those things aren't changing that much day to day. But my internal dialogue, my inner biochemistry is absolutely always shifting and changing, and that's one thing that I've learned I can definitely rely on. Until next time, love and light.
Okay. So basically, our world that we live in is created by ourselves. So some people think, no, we should maybe change perspective to maybe positive perspective. But whether it's positive or negative, it's all illusion created by our thoughts. But it's not bad, you know. It's just our thoughts are very powerful creative tool. Once you know it, you know how to make use of it. So this is an important point, but I won't go into this point. Today, the first point I want to go into is we don't have full control over our life, but we have control over how we respond to what happened to us in our life. This one is, to me, very, very important. As in, if you live your life with the thinking that I will only be happy if things happen the way I want, and I will not be happy if things don't happen the way I want, then you will forever be not happy. Because, you know, only 50% of the time things happen the way you want. The other 50%, it doesn't happen the way you want. So this is what I mean is you have no full control over what happens to you, but you have control of how you respond. If you can keep this in mind, be with whatever that happened to us, then you will solve a lot of unhappiness in your life, a lot of dukkha. Okay, so basically we have no control over our circumstances, the people around us, things, even including our body and our thoughts. We have no control over our thoughts also. But unfortunately, all of us are control freak. Okay, all of us, including myself, we want to control everything. And I think I've shared with you not one time, quite a few times, people come and tell me, Bhante, can you help me change my husband, change my wife, change my children, but never change themselves. Okay, we always want to change others because we want to fix other people. And trying to control outcomes or control our circumstances, it's very, very exhausting because we are never made to do it. We can influence the outcomes. We can make an effort to provide the condition for outcomes to flow the way we want, but we can never control the outcomes. So this is an important factor. So knowing this, if you can allow things to happen as it is, allowing things happen doesn't mean you don't do anything. We try our best in whatever situation we have, and then we accept we can be with whatever outcome that comes. Then this is kindness to ourselves and to everyone around us. And ability to accept whatever that happens in our life, it's a very powerful tool. It makes us very resilient to whatever comes. Imagine you can be whatever that comes. I mean, suddenly COVID-19 comes, you can handle it. Whatever that comes throw at you, you can handle it. You have very, very strong resilience. And this is the advice that Buddha gave to his son Rahula, like to be the earth, Mother Earth. Whatever that's thrown into the Mother Earth, people can spit on the Mother Earth, throw rubbish on the Mother Earth never complain. So if you can have this ability to be with whatever that comes, one Tibetan master called it to be okay with not okay also, then your heart will open up. Actually, it helps us to open up because you can accept whatever comes to us. And by being able to accept our current situation, whatever that happens to us, you will be able to do the best possible for the next moment. So it also makes us very efficient also in performing our tasks. So it has a lot of benefit, and also make us reduce our fear of whatever happens in our life, because whatever happens, we can take it. So this is a very useful tool if we can learn to practice it. It's not as difficult as we think, because we are too brainwashed that things must happen the way we want. So all you got to do is open up your heart to allow whatever that comes to your life, to embrace it, to let it be. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about when you know and accept that you have no full control over your life, then actually you will have freedom, because now you don't need to control life anymore. And I'll give you a few examples of my own life that we don't have full control. Even thoughts that comes to us, we don't have full control, but we always have control on how we respond. An example is my mom's cancer. She was diagnosed with lung cancer, but she don't smoke, and no third party smoking, because no one in our family smoke. But still, she has lung cancer. And of course, you can say maybe, we can avoid it. Yeah, because we know the costs and conditions are there, because she's a very stressful lady. But you can only do certain things to try to stir the outcome. Okay, but in the end, you still can't control the outcome. And to sidetrack a bit, one of the things that causes stressful quite often, I feel that, is we try to control life. We try to think too many steps ahead. Somehow, I don't buy this idea that people think 5-6 steps ahead. Because I'll give you an example, maybe not so good example, an example that if you try to plan 3 steps ahead, let's say your first step is to stay or not to stay in this current house. And your next step is, if you stay, you do renovations. And the third step is to pay the renovator your renovation. But if you think 3 steps ahead, you start paying, or raising money to pay. But in the end, you suddenly realize that you're not going to stay in this house. Everything down the line all wasted. So to me, it's you can plan, but everything keeps changing very fast in this modern world. So it's much more powerful if you can just stay with the flow, just be with whatever now. You plan considered contingency, but always stay with the current now, because things will keep changing. Now back to my mom. In terms of thoughts, we have no control also. At the beginning, when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, I have no thoughts. I just do whatever needs to be done, like find different physicians, different doctors, traditional, Western, and so on. And it was fine. I was not tired. I was, just keep doing one thing after another. But somehow there was one time when I stopped to rest, lots of thoughts come, like, should I do more? Did I do enough? Maybe I should have done more. Is this working? Why does this happening to me? And I get very tired. So we don't have control over these thoughts also, but the way we respond, we have control. So I after a while, I didn't pay attention to these thoughts, and the thoughts don't linger anymore. In fact, actually, you need effort to maintain thoughts. If you don't put in more effort, the thoughts will die down by itself, because everything is impermanent. And then because my response is not to continue getting fuel the thoughts die down by itself, and I go back to not being bogged down by thoughts and continue do what needs to be done. So this is an important thing, that we don't fight the thoughts. As long as you understand that thoughts are just thoughts, they are not real, then, and you don't even have to think, don't have to tell yourself the thoughts are not real, then you are actually fighting with thoughts. Just let the thoughts be and don't make efforts to maintain the thoughts. It will disappear by itself. And regarding this, accepting things as they are, it makes our life much more happier. Another example I want to give is by one American coach, Michael Singer. He says that imagine if you, let's say you love pumpkin soup, and you go to a restaurant and you ask for pumpkin soup, and that day they have no pumpkin soup, you might be very angry. But if you are being able to take whatever that comes, and the waiter says, no, sorry, today no pumpkin soup, but there's mushroom soup, and for you it's, oh, mushroom soup is also okay, then your life will be much happier if you can are able to accept whatever that comes. But it doesn't mean that you don't have opinions and preferences. Your preference might be pumpkin soup, but for you, mushroom soup is nice, bean soup also is nice, it's okay. So that way, your mind will be more resilient and also much happier life. It's like, another example sometimes I give is like, in life, you still try your best, but if you win, then it's like, yes, I win, let's give myself a treat. But if you lose, oh, I lose, but let's give myself a treat. So that way, we are able to flow with life more, okay? And one example is, it will help. You might ask me, how do I make effort to be whatever that happens to me? Actually, you don't need effort. It's like, you never try to control the weather, because you can't control the weather. By just knowing that you can't control whatever happens to you, you will stop controlling it. But unfortunately, we have this idea that we can control, so you try to control. So a good example is the weather. You don't try to force, when it rains, you don't try to force it not to rain, because we know it's beyond our control. So same, we can't really control our thoughts. If you can understand that, we won't try to fight with the thoughts. We just choose to how we respond to the thoughts. Then we can learn to be the master of thoughts instead of servant of the thoughts. Okay. So today we will explore with these thoughts. Okay. And it's very important for us to make friends with our thoughts, because as I say, our whole life is created by our thoughts. Our world is created by our thoughts. So one thing, how to make friends with the thoughts is to use thoughts as a meditation object. Okay, this is something I've learned recently, and I feel that it's very powerful. That way, you can make friends with thoughts instead of making enemy. And I feel that many meditators, including myself, spend many years making enemies with the thoughts. We try to fight and try to get rid of thoughts. So as I mentioned just now, all our emotions, basically all our sufferings are reflection of our thoughts. So thoughts are very important. If you can make friends with your thoughts, you solve a lot of problems in your life. So now we will do a thought meditation. Okay, two things which I mentioned earlier when meditation is whatever meditation we do, try to keep the body straight to avoid drowsiness, but keep the body relaxed to avoid agitation, okay, restlessness. Now, for this thought meditation that we're going to do, there are three things you have to bear in mind. Very easy, okay? These three things are very easy. One, you have to target a lot of thoughts. You don't stay with one thought, otherwise you will get lost in it. If you stay with drinking coffee with your friends, you will keep long story about drinking coffee. So many thoughts, might be thought on drinking coffee with your friend, and then thoughts on what to do tomorrow, thoughts on yesterday, and so on. Okay, don't go into the detail of thoughts. Just watch the thoughts as an audience. Target many thoughts, move quickly to the thoughts, and lastly, aware clearly. When you're aware clearly of the thoughts, you are not lost in the thoughts anymore. Okay, so now let's try now. Relax the whole body, but be alert. Keep in the mind state of totally relaxed after you've a state where after you finish all your work or responsibility, totally relaxed state and aware of whatever thoughts that arise. Just know whatever thoughts that arise. Okay, just feel your body. Okay, now poll question. Three things can happen when you look at your thoughts as an object. Okay, one, the thoughts disappear. You have no more thoughts. Two, same amount of thoughts. Three, more thoughts come. Okay, so please answer the question. One, if your thoughts disappear. Two, same amount of thoughts. Three, more thoughts come. Okay. You see the result. Okay, so 50% of your the thoughts disappear. Okay, so you can see that when you observe the thoughts, one of the possibility, and a lot of you, half of you, the thoughts disappear, which is good. Okay, because this is one of the things that borders the nagging thoughts in our mind. 24% same amount of thoughts, and 26% more thoughts come. Okay, for those who have same number of thoughts or more thoughts come, it's also good because you can continue to use thoughts as an object. So in this meditation, no matter what, you always win. Okay, if thoughts disappear, it's good because it doesn't disturb you anymore. You might ask me what I should do now. You're just aware. Okay, if thoughts disappear, just stay in this awareness, alertness. For those who thoughts the same or more, you can continue use thoughts as a meditation object. So either way, you'll be winning. And we have transformed thoughts as obstacle to thoughts as an opportunity for us to use as a meditation object. So you can see if we stick to the idea that the essence of meditation is awareness, then whatever object you can use thoughts, you can even use drowsiness, sleepiness as a meditation object. And you'll be surprised when you use sleepiness as a meditation object, the sleepiness will disappear also. But if your intention to use sleepiness as object is to get rid of it, then it won't disappear. Okay, they are very smart. If you want to get rid of them, they will stay. But if your intention is just use it as object, you will somehow disappear. Okay, so this by strengthening our awareness using whatever objects that you have, it can be sound, it can be forms and all that, you will be able to see the reality of life easier. You'll be able to see things like your emotions come from your thoughts. Okay, because your mind is here. This is another way they translate samadhi. Samadhi quite often is translated as concentration, and I don't like the translation because it gives the idea that you are like use a lot of effort to focus. Actually, a better translation for samadhi is by Bhante Vimala Ramsi, is this collectedness of mind. It's being, your mind is collected here. Okay, so when you have this, according to the text, when you have samadhi, you will be able to see things as they really are. So when you have awareness, when you are here, your mind is collected, you will be able to see things as they really are. Like see things like your emotions come from your thoughts. Okay, and things like impermanence and unsatisfactoriness and non-self nature of life. Okay, now another thing I want to divert a bit on this meditation is there's this about meditative awareness, which is very useful. Like, do you know that now you are listening to me, you also are aware that you are listening to me? There's two parts. You are listening to me and you're aware that you're listening to me. Like you can feel that you're sitting down and you're aware that you're sitting down. So this awareness will help you to see back to that video we showed in the beginning, that you are the audience and you are the actor at the same time, okay, of your life movie. So this is a useful thing to explore in your life. So now, if you understand this, try to explore in your daily life. When you are doing work, are you aware that you are doing work? When you're talking to other people, are you aware that you're talking to people? Okay, so now we have finished the first point about not being able to control our circumstances. What happens to us in our life? When you are able to accept whatever that's happened, whatever that's happening in your life, then you actually have this feeling of contentment. And Buddha in Dhammapada, it says that contentment is the greatest wealth. So this also has this benefit. Now, the next point I want to talk about is the flow of wisdom in us. There is an innate flow of wisdom in every one of us. we just need to be aware of it. And you can call this intuition. We know what to do at the right time, at the right place, always. If you if you allow this flow of wisdom to come through you, okay? How does it come through you? It always comes through a peaceful feeling, not through stress. If you have this idea that I should do this, maybe I should not do this, if you have doubt, then it's not you are not in the flow of wisdom, okay? When you're in the flow of wisdom, life will be much smoother. You don't have much problem. But if you don't, the beauty of this flow of wisdom that's naturally with us is that if you don't follow it, it doesn't complain. It's just like GPS. If you don't follow the GPS, it will say recalculating. It doesn't complain. It will just keep giving if you go another route instead of following the GPS, it will just recalculate and give you what next route you need to take from that wrong turning, whatever that you took. Okay, so whether you are distracted, not listening, or listening, your GPS is always functioning and it doesn't complain. Okay, and also this flow of wisdom is actually a yes/no switch. When you are in the thinking like maybe I should do this, maybe I shouldn't, then you are not in the flow of wisdom. I'll give you some examples, and then I want you all to give examples also so that you can get a feel of it, okay? Some example in my life is when I was studying in Melbourne, somehow I decided to transfer to Sydney University in Sydney, in New South Wales. It's like, there's no thinking about it. It's like, I have to do that. And it turns out it changed my life, because from there, I learned Buddhism. That's the first time I learned Buddhism from Sydney University. And then when I was in Sydney University, one time I saw there's a board saying that, there is a talk on Zen Buddhism. When I saw that, I was like, this is what I'm searching for. There's no like decision made, like, should I go? Shouldn't I go? Maybe this is for me, this is not for me. No, it's like, this is a flow of wisdom. And similarly, when I decided to quit my job to practice full-time, also like, it's like not, should I, shouldn't I? Maybe I should write advantages and disadvantages. No, you don't have to go through that. If you have to write advantages and disadvantages, it doesn't really help in a sense, because emotionally you already know what decision you want to make. Those logic, it's only designed to support your emotion. So, the writing down advantage and disadvantage is basically to support whatever you already made a decision. So, it doesn't, the traditional way of writing how many advantage on this side and how many disadvantage doesn't really work, because you know, or you don't know. When you don't know, then you got to wait until you know, okay? And in fact, the other way also, there's this transformative coach, Michael Neal, who shares that many of his clients know that their marriage is not the right one, but they give all the excuse that I've already planned the wedding and plans are already made, so I should go ahead. But in the end, it didn't end up well. You know, actually. So similarly, to go or not to go with whatever decision you know. So you all can try to give you half a minute. You can type into chat box whatever in your life, whatever decision or no decision actually, that is what we call no-brainer, that you have to do this. Then when you type in the chat box, then it will help to let you understand what are the things in the flow of wisdom. Okay. Whoever interested, you can just type in the chat box whatever whatever things that you do in your life that is in the flow of wisdom. So if you're aware of this, stay in the old job that drained my energy, that's a flow of wisdom. That one, I'm not sure whether it's a flow of wisdom. that drain your energy, I don't know whether it's a flow of wisdom. Just to give you a clue is when you are in a flow of wisdom, you have this openness, this peace of mind, this happiness when you make that decision or whatever non-decision. Oh, meaning quit. Sorry, quits. Oh, quit. Okay. Meaning quit. Sorry, I can't understand. Anyone else have any? Okay, if you are, no, I'm not sure I made a decision to leave a group of WhatsApp is a flow of wisdom or not, but I got freedom and peaceful feeling, yeah. My decision to take up full-time doctoral post in Singapore with husband support, giving up material possessions, yeah, okay. Quit the old job, yeah, okay. Okay, we won't spend more time on this. Okay, so being in the flow of wisdom is like being in a zone, okay, like dancer, athletes, or musicians are performing. So, okay, now another thing I want to stress is actually, this one is quite interesting to me because in my whole life, I've struggled with making decisions. Okay, I'm always afraid of making decisions, surprisingly. But this few years, I realized that actually, when you need to make a decision, means you're out of the flow of wisdom. Because we actually make millions of decisions automatically every day without thinking. When we walk, we don't have to think whether we to put left foot first or right foot first. Because we have the flow of wisdom. The direct flow of wisdom goes straight into action. And this is how we are designed to operate. Making decision happens when we are conscious of this process, when we stop, when we step out of the flow of wisdom and get into our head, into our thinking. Suddenly we have a decision to make. Because normally we don't need to make decision because it just goes to the flow. Like what I say, when I saw the sign, for Zen Buddhism, I didn't make a decision. I just know I have to, this is for me to go. So actually, making decision happens when we switch from this infinite field of wisdom to our small brain with limited knowledge to decide which path to take, and then we mess everything. Okay, so the more thinking we have, then you make the decision bigger. So how big a decision is how much thinking you have about the thing. What if I do this? What if I do that? And so on. Suddenly, your the whole weight of the world is your mind. There's no room for this flow of wisdom to come. So we create, this big decision is created by us. Then we have to solve it ourselves. So then, but you might ask, what about important decision like choosing marriage partner and so on, or job? You know whether to take it or not. You don't have to think a lot about all this. When you have this thinking, means this, you don't know, and it might not be wise to go ahead. Even life and death decision, when you have danger, life and death, actually the danger quiets the mind. The inner wisdom takes over and you know what to do. That's why you have cases where mother can carry the car up to save the children. So another thing about decision is lots of thinking comes in when we make decision because we think our happiness depends on the outside circumstances. We think that if we make right decision, then we'll be happy. If you make wrong decision, then we are not happy. We forgot happiness is always inside us. Whatever decision we make will not affect this natural happiness in us. If you can be aware of this fact, then you will solve a lot of worry about making wrong decisions, because whichever decisions you make in life is just different adventure you will go. If you make decision this way, it's different this adventure. If you make decision that way, it's another adventure. Because happiness, peace, and all that is already in you. It's there all the time. It doesn't matter whichever decision you make. Okay. So back to this GPS analogy, it's like when we decide that we want to make a decision, we're out of flow of wisdom. It's like we suddenly think it's very important, and when we don't use the GPS, we use our own map, handheld map. and it doesn't work anymore. Okay, so big decision means we think decision is important for us. So back to this decision is basically it's either yes, no, or I don't know. I don't know means you need more information. You have to wait. Okay, but you might say that, Bhante, sometimes I can't wait because decision has to be made. Then it doesn't really matter because either yes or no doesn't make any difference. So maybe you should just throw a coin, because it doesn't make a difference between yes or no. If otherwise you would know whether it's yes or no. And thoughts about a thing doesn't solve the situation. Thinking more about the thing doesn't solve the situation. Like for my cough, when I feel that need to go to see this doctor, and I feel that it somehow resonates with me, then I just go and see. Okay, so thinking a lot about it doesn't solve, or if you try to give yourself more pressure to solve a thing, it doesn't help also. When you try to force something to recover quickly, also it doesn't. The body will recover when it recovers. So similarly, I know it takes some time to cough because it's not from the throat, it's from the digestive system. So it takes time. You have to be patient sometimes. So sometimes another thing that helps for us to about this about this flow of wisdom is you have to give permission for yourself to follow this flow of inner wisdom. Okay, because sometimes we don't trust ourselves. So you have to have some trust in yourself that you have the answer for yourself. Okay, so we'll again spend 1 minute. This time you just think in your own self. Give yourself permission to follow whatever your inner wisdom tell you. It might be your inner wisdom tell you to give permission for you to rest more, or to maybe to change job, I don't know, or to allow yourself to, sometimes even allow yourself to feel angry, because sometimes we suppress our anger or sadness. So we'll just pause for one minute. Just allow yourself to give permission for yourself to follow the flow of wisdom, whatever flow of wisdom that you have inside you. Okay, now we have another poll question. This one I feel that is useful as a guide. The poll question is very easy. Do you really want to live in the flow of wisdom? If you want to live in the flow of wisdom, is yes. If no, then just no. In order for us to be able to live in the flow of wisdom, you have to have this intention that you want to live in the flow of wisdom. Same, if you want to get enlightened, for enlightenment to occur, you need to have this wish for enlightenment. Okay, while waiting, there's a question. Bhante, if we do not know how to make the right decision, and yet it is important decision, then what is the right thing to do? If you don't get lost in your thoughts, you try to stay in a peaceful state of mind, you will know to make the best decision possible at that time. Okay, if you ask me then, how do I make my mind calm and peaceful? One way that helps is depends on what works for you. Some people, when they take long walk in the park, or some people, they walk on the beach, then they don't get lost in thoughts. Then they can feel that natural peace in them. Actually, that natural peace is always with us. But when you walk when you look at stars in the night, or when you walk at the beach, when you look at waves, or when you're at the forest, it helps us not to get lost in our thoughts. When you're not lost in your thoughts, easier for us to stay with the natural peace and calm. Then you will know what to do. Oh, 100%, that's good. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, first you must have the intention to stay with the flow of wisdom. Okay. Now, I want to read to you something from a book called Space Within by Michael Neal, American coach. I feel that this helps to guide us on the flow of wisdom. And it's quite interesting, some of the points he pointed out. You were born in a zone of flow. From the time you were an infant, you naturally learn about life through present moment, instinct, and intuition. As baby, you didn't learn to walk because you thought it was important. You learned to walk because there was somewhere you wanted to get to, and walking seemed to be a good way to get there. You didn't learn to talk because you thought it would make you appear more intelligent. You learned to talk because there was something you wanted to express or request, and talking seemed to be the best way to do it. And you learn quickly and practice tirelessly, and you didn't get back down as a baby, okay? You didn't get back down in your failures for one simple reason. You didn't think about them. Baby can learn to walk, fall down, learn to walk, fall down, learn to walk and fall down, and they never think that it's a failure because they never think about it. So when babies fall down while trying to walk, they don't see failure. Don't think about it. Okay, continue with the book, which points us to the number one source of interference that limits the amount of time we spend in the flow or in the zone and our game, which is thought. We get caught up in our personal thinking and lose our bearings. Recognizing that this is the only real obstacle you have to overcome, just recognizing this is half the battle won. The other half is even simpler. You don't need to control your thoughts to be free of them. When you see that your experience of life is thought created, those thoughts begin to lose their hold on you. Okay, when you see that all your experience are created by your thoughts, it's a story created by yourself, the thoughts lose the hold on you. It's like waking up inside a dream or becoming conscious of the movie theater when you're in a movie. When you get caught up in a movie, when you're conscious of the movie theater, you don't get frightened by the movie anymore. You don't need to do anything about it. The drama of your thinking fades into the background, and you find yourself once more in the zone, in the flow, on your game, and doing exactly what needs to be done to perform at your best and create the results that you desire. So, it's not that difficult. You just need to look at the right direction. Okay. The next point I want to point is being present. To help in being in the flow of wisdom is to be present. Being present in the here and now will help us in the flow of wisdom. Being present means you're not lost, like, where am I now? What was I thinking just now? That's lost. So you don't need effort to be here, to be present at this moment. Just when you're totally relaxed, you'll be here. Okay. Now, okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay, next point is about natural love and compassion, which I shared, I think, in one of the Friday session. Before we go into this, just one, again, poll question. How many of you believe that you have naturally love and compassion within you all the time, 24/7? Again, poll question, yes or no. How many believe that you have love and compassion all the time? Yes, if you believe, no, if you don't. Okay, while waiting for the result, just want to share with you that imagine if you have a rock in your house and then suddenly I come and tell you that actually that's pure gold covered in dirt. Before I told you that, and after I told you that, the amount of wealth you have is the same. There's no increase in wealth. Yeah. So similarly, whether you're aware or not, you always have this love and compassion. But it's just that when you're aware, you can make use of it more. That's all. Okay, at least 66% feels that they have this natural love and compassion. 34% no. Okay, we will show you a few slides that I've sent for the Friday night groups. Zichen will use the slides. I like these few points that I'm going to share. Okay, this one, first you got to be aware of this natural peace and happiness that's with us all the time. If you don't look in this direction, you will not know. Okay, one way to help us is think of when you are walking on the beach, or when you are in the forest, or when you're looking at stars. You have this natural, you are back to this natural peace and happiness. It's always there. It's just that we are lost in thoughts, so you're not aware. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one is very useful. Each and every one of us have metta, which is love and compassion. That's talking about karuna 24/7. Don't believe. Definition of metta is wish for happiness. Definition of karuna is wish for freedom from suffering. Now, every breath you take is actually to have happiness and free from suffering. Because if you don't have air going into your lungs, you'll be struggling, you'll be suffering. So every breath you take, every move you make, like because you sit too long, you adjust your body, that's because you want to be free from suffering, you want happiness. Every eye blink you take also is because you want to be free from suffering, you want happiness. So every movement, every single action, every moment, you are looking for happiness and freedom from suffering. And that is metta and karuna. So you always have metta and karuna, love and compassion. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one is back to just now, but it's also helped us here that your emotions are a reflection of your thoughts, and your thoughts change millions of times in a moment. So actually you need effort to maintain your angry, sad, scary thoughts in order to continue there. So why would you want to make effort to cause yourself to be angry, sad, or scared? And another slide, one more. Okay, aware of your anger, you saw the impermanence nature of your anger, the source of anger, which is angry thoughts, and the anger will cease by itself because you didn't sustain it, all in one moment. So this is the Four Noble Truths. You are aware of the unsatisfactoriness, the anger, the impermanence nature of it, the source, the cessation. The path is to do all this. So other emotions, the same. The same goes with all emotions. That's why the Four Noble Truths is very noble. Next one, I think, is a picture. Next slide. Oh, no, not yet. Okay. You can't let go of obsession just by thinking to yourself, I need to drop this obsession. When you see, only when you really see the obsession will bring a suffering in the end, you will drop it without effort. So it's all about recognizing and seeing wisdom. Okay, I think we will don't need the slide later on, the rest of it. Okay, we will stop the slide first. Okay, so as you can see, the natural love and compassion is not so difficult, because every moment actually we are seeking for happiness and seeking freedom from suffering. So we have love and compassion all the time. And one thing you can explore, actually, you'll be quite strange, actually, we get a lot of happiness seeing other people happy. Most of us, you'll be quite surprised. So sometimes when we get certain things, let's say we get a new car and all that, it might not be as happy as seeing someone, when you give something to someone and you see the joy and happiness in them, that's much more happy for us. Okay. Now, this love and compassion, if you can see that it's with us all the time, it's very useful because it gives us a lot of mental strength. Okay. And you also realize that when you begin to be more aware of this natural peace, love and compassion, you will know that and see that our mental sickness is not our nature. It's just like when we wash dishes, we know that the nature is clean. So that's why we wash the dishes, our cups and plates and so on. If we know that if we think it's originally dirty, it's always dirty, then we won't make effort to clean it. Okay, so similarly, when we are depressed, when we are sad, when we are angry, it's just not our nature. So we know that it will pass. Our nature is always peace and happiness inside us. Okay. Yeah, when you can when you can realize that you have natural peace and happiness inside you, then you can meditate anywhere. Otherwise, when you meditate in the city, it's too noisy. Then you go to the mountain, maybe there's birds, sound of birds, winds, and still think too noisy. Then you build your soundproof room. Then you might still feel uncomfortable because the cushion not comfortable. So you cannot never find a place, because happiness is always inside us. Okay, so this is about natural love and compassion. So hope you all can explore that we have this natural love and compassion inside us. The next point, next wisdom I want to explore is about we create our world through our concepts, ideas, and stories. This one we have talked a lot many times. So every day, if you can be aware, then you can see that even now, let's say if you hear sound, very fast we'll label different sound with different things, maybe cars passing by or neighbors shouting. So we actually, it might be true, not true, but we are creating our world through our labeling, our perception of what we hear, what we see, and so on. So we are building our world through our perceptions. If you can see that, that will also help us a lot in our everyday life. Okay, if we can go beyond this, then if we can go beyond being stuck with our concept ideas, then you can go beyond this to use every phenomena, every activity, every action as support our meditation. Okay, one meditation that we could do is, actually we can try now, is sound meditation. Just aware of whatever sound that you hear. Okay, we can do for 1 minute. Just relax the whole body, but keep the back straight. Just aware of whatever sound that comes, without labeling, without judgment. Okay, so you can see we add a lot of labeling concepts into whatever we hear, wherever we see. Okay, next, 1 or 2 more points we're finishing. One is, I want to show you some slide to show you that we experience our story, that we create our circumstances, okay? Because example is when you walk under the hot sun, you feel the heat and you think it's terrible, but we actually pay money to go to experience heat in sauna. When you're inside sauna, you feel so good, the heat. But when you're walking under the sun, you're like, oh, this damn heat, how come it's so hot here? So it's just a perception we have. It can change. The same heat can be very good or very bad. And similarly, when you have pain, sharp pain in your body, you'll be complaining. But we actually, quite often, we pay money for massage or acupressure. And sometimes we ask the person, you know, can you please press harder because I pay you money to do it? And we don't call that, you know, pain or suffering. So it's a perception again. If you can see all these, actually life is quite funny, quite interesting. And I want to show you some slides, Zizhen, the last 3 slides. Okay, for some people, when you see this, you might think, oh, garlic, very bad, very smelly. For another person, they might think that, oh, very good, useful, a lot of nutrient. And in fact, people take garlic pills. So same thing, depending on perception, it can be, you know, very bad for us, very good. The next slide. Now, when you see lemon, some people can, you know, maybe got saliva in their mouth because of the sourness, but some people know. So, you know, it's again, our perception of the world. And last one, when some people see this, they might think, oh, this is really smelly thing. Other people might think it's a delicious, you know, we are waiting for the season to come. So, yeah, we create the world through our perception. Okay, so to end this, if you can see life as a game, okay, we finish with the slides, then life will be much more interesting and a lot of fun. So if you can try to not take life too seriously, because if you do, it becomes too real. When I say too seriously, it doesn't mean you don't fulfill your responsibility. You still do your things, but you take it as a game. Okay. In fact, in Sphina Sutta Samyutta Nikaya, it did says that we are formed from 5 aggregates and they are illusion. They are not substantial, not real, but it's not nothing. Okay. It's like a virtual reality. It's like a game. Okay. So then you would say, you know, if it's not illusory, then why we want to participate in it? Same like a game. We know game is not real, but we play game because of the fun of playing it and of the connection with other people. So like I say, I love this analogy. It's like parents bringing kids to play sports. When the kids win, the parents will say, yes, we win, let's have ice cream. But if the kids lose, you will just say, oh, we lose this time, let's have ice cream. So either way, we always win because it's a game. So if you can remember, our exploration is a discovery, you know, it's for fun. And we are not going anywhere because naturally we already have the love and peace and happiness and compassion and all that. We are always there. We are just looking for something that's already within us. We just need to be aware. And hopefully we have lots of fun in this exploration, not take things too seriously. That will help a lot in our life. Does not take things too seriously doesn't mean you don't care. Don't care means you are indifferent. This one, you care, but you know life is it's like a rainbow. It's there, but it's not there, so you don't take it extremely seriously. Okay, any questions? I saw some questions along the way, but I missed them. If Jason could pick out some questions in the middle.
But just give me a moment, yeah.
Okay, I saw one that I missed is John Tan BCD. To consult a doctor or not when I have several symptoms such as persistent headache? What if we know the real disease behind? When you are not well, you need to seek treatment. So yeah, you need to like you know, when I've cough, I go and see a doctor. It doesn't mean, you know, I still try to use my mind to help to heal, but you still need help. Okay. But I do believe that if you put your mind towards healing, it can help a lot. But of course, if you can get external help, we try to have external help. Okay, any questions that I missed? If Jason can pick up anytime, just tell me. Otherwise, anyone have any questions from the floor, you can unmute and ask, or you can type in also. So basically today is to encourage you all to explore in your daily life whatever wisdom that we have shared so far over the year. In fact, we have incredible that we have gone a year already.
Bhante, I don't know. I think this question from Brother Al Chan, whether it is good wisdom not to be vaccinated due to the many stories of mortality
Okay,
rate.
someone was asking me if, okay, I saw another one, Ku Chia Chia. Someone was asking me if she should change the job, but I believe she already makes up her mind. She just want confirmation from her decision. Is it flow of wisdom? We don't know whether it's flow. Flow of wisdom comes from a peace of mind. When you come from a very relaxed, peaceful state of mind, that's flow of wisdom. Sometimes it's from our thoughts we make a decision. We don't know. Sometimes it's from our emotion. I mean, we don't know where the other. We know for ourselves. We don't know from where the decision comes from the other person. But we are always emotional being. We are not logical being, men included. Okay. Of course, we always think women are emotional being, but actually men are also emotional being. We always make decisions based on emotion. Then we use logic to justify our emotion. And we can twist the logic. Okay. We can think of incredible logical, seems very logical that we have to make this decision to go north. But actually, if you really dissect the logic, there's no logic at all. We always follow emotion. So that's why it's very, recently also I listened to a few talks that it's very important for us to develop this, to aware, not develop, it's not a good word, to aware of this natural peace in us, to open up our heart so that we don't get blocked. Because emotion is the key. We don't follow our logic here. So you can learn a lot of Dharma, but if the emotions here is blocked, you can't apply the Dharma. So it's very important that your heart is open. How to open? Try to be aware that you have this natural peace and calm inside you. That's the first step. Okay. Any questions from the floor?
Bhante, can I ask one question?
Oh,
yes.
sorry. Can you go ahead again?
Okay, Bhante,
Okay.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Okay, recently I make a decision to leave a WhatsApp group, a very important group. Okay, I make decision to leave that group. So when I make decision at that time, I ask myself, should I do this? Should I click and leave? So at that moment, I left the group. Then I get the peaceful mind because I don't want to continue to explain, to talk in that group. And I also told that person that we will talk face to face. So I left that group. I get the peaceful in my mind. When I tell one of my friends, she said that you should not do this kind of decision. Okay, but for me until now, I felt like it's a good decision. I don't know. I get confused after I get from my friends. I don't know.
Okay.
Is it a wisdom or is it flow of wisdom?
We know best what is best for ourselves. No one know better than ourselves. But everyone think they are the expert for you.
Yes.
Everyone will give their own opinion, okay? But you only know through testing, okay? Okay,
Yes.
I want to give you an example. I'm not saying this is bad, okay? So people don't get upset when I give this example, okay? Because my cough is very long, so many people give me many different solutions. Some says, you have to drink honey with lemon. Definitely it works for me. Yes, it works for that person.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it will work for you. And even for that person, it works for that time. For the next time that person cough, it might not work.
Okay.
So you know your best for yourself, okay? But you have to be honest for yourself. Yeah. So as long as you're honest with yourself, you experience your life. That person is not going to experience your life.
Yes.
So that person cannot make decision for you.
Okay.
But we have to be humble to listen to all the different opinions. But we are, in the end, we ourselves have to make the decision because it's your life, not the person's life.
Okay.
But if you get confused sometimes, then don't listen to too many opinions. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah,
Bhante?
everyone has their own. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think there's a few questions in the post actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can
so
you-
I'll just read them out lah. There's
Okay.
one from GE. Can Bhante explain more on anatta?
Oh, okay. Okay, this one is difficult but easy, okay, for me, because I explained quite a few times already, okay? Basically, you have two parts only, your body and your mind. Your body yesterday and today is not the same. It keeps changing, okay? You look at your photo when you're a baby and now not the same. And in fact, science says, I think every 5 days you have new stomach, every 30 days new skin, every 90 days new skeleton, every 7 years, all the cells change to a new one. So every moment your body change. Your mind, you keep changing, you know. Suddenly you want this, suddenly you want that. So you keep changing. So basically, the yesterday you and today you, it's not the same. So that's anatta in a sense, but there's not nothing. Okay, I want to keep emphasizing that anatta doesn't mean that there is totally nothing at all. That is wrong view. That's nihilism. So Buddhism is not nihilism. It's not eternalism. Also, it's not there is a permanent Nyaninda all the time. There is a Nyaninda that keeps changing all the time. Yesterday's Nyaninda and today not the same. Okay, politicians are very good at this. They make a promise yesterday and say, oh, that's yesterday, today is different. So they are very close to anicca and anatta. Unfortunately, they use it for the wrong means only. So what is useful for this? I always give this example that, for example, let's say, okay, Jason were to beat me up yesterday, and today I am very angry at Jason for beating me up yesterday, then I'm wrong. Because yesterday's the Jason that beat me up is gone. Today is a different, not 100% different, but not 100% the same. And the me that's beaten up yesterday and today is not 100% the same. But I have to be very careful because today's Jason and yesterday's Jason is related. So he might beat me up again. Being careful is correct. But having this grudge and anger is not correct because the person has changed. And in fact, people do change, okay? So of course, they don't change in one day, but if you have this mentality that that person 10 years ago gave me trouble, he's a bad guy, you are limited by your own thinking because this guy might become very good guy now. So it helps a lot if you understand this anatta. But it's not as difficult as we think. It's basically, we see it every day. You know, look at politicians, you will see every day. So anatta is not that difficult. Okay. Yes. We always think anatta is very difficult. Wait until 10 lives later, then only we see anatta. No. Anicca, dukkha, anatta is very simple. So simple that we can't see it. Okay, another question.
Bhante, there's another one from Fu Hong Yi. Vandami Bhante, when I do thought meditation just now, I find that many different objects come and go. Sometimes it looks like many come at same time. For example, sounds blaring in, body itchiness, and thoughts, etc. So is it just observe all at the same time as we are watching movie?
Okay, good question. Okay, depends on what you are doing. If you want to just do awareness, just strengthen your awareness, it doesn't matter how many objects, as long as you're aware. As long as you're not lost, if you can watch as movie, fantastic. Then in your daily life, you can see all your life drama as a movie. Then you don't take things too seriously anymore. You still continue your life, you still work hard, you still do whatever you need to do, but you don't get lost in your drama anymore. So you will learn to do that if you can be aware, just aware. So Object, no problem. If you have many objects also, it's okay. That is if you are, depends on your aim. If your meditation aim is to strengthen your awareness, you can do this. But if your meditation aim is to strengthen your focus, you need to stay in one object. Okay, so depends on what your aim is. Okay. Lately, I've been sharing more with people on strengthening awareness because I find it more useful. If you later on you want to strengthen your focus, your concentration, you can. But I find that it's more useful for, especially for lay people, to strengthen their awareness first. Okay. Later on, if you want to do strengthen that focusing, it's up to you. Okay. Any other question, Jason?
I think there's one more from Chuck.
Okay.
Why is it sometimes we can just feel very happy and sometimes very sad without any reason?
Actually, when the happiness is always there. Actually, you don't need a reason to be happy. Yeah, because happiness is our nature. So you don't really need reason. For sadness, actually, there is a reason, but you can't see. As in, you must be thinking sad thought for you to be sad. But sometimes you didn't detect it. It's okay. You don't have to look for the thoughts. Just tell yourself not to hold on to, not to continue thinking those thoughts, whatever thoughts you are thinking. That's all. You don't have to fight with the thoughts. Just don't hold on, like, no, don't get stuck with the thoughts. That's all. You can go for a walk or go for a swim, go for a stroll in the park and so on. Okay. I want to go back to the just point. Actually, if you can see that we don't need any reason to be happy, that helps us a lot. Because in life, we always think that we need a reason to be happy. We need to, let's say, get a new house or a new car or maybe strike lottery to be happy. Actually, you don't. We have this natural happiness in us. Yeah. If you can't find this natural happiness, please look at Jason. He's always smiling. So you will get this natural happiness in you. Or one way is, I was told that if you smile, okay, it will naturally, because of the muscle movement, it will naturally create this, tune your mind to this happy state. So if you can't just keep faking the smile, okay. I was told those, I don't know how true. Someone told me that those people who do the what do you call, the plastic surgery, Botox, because of this plastic surgery, they have this forced smile all the time. Those people are happier somehow because they are forced to smile.
Correct. I think, Bhante, just to add to your point, it was always told to me that if you cannot smile, bite a pencil.
Okay, you can try that.
Because it forces the muscles to actually relax. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, so now we know why Jason is always smiling. I think he bite a lot of pencil when he was young. So anyway, yeah, try to have more lighthearted in your life. Then it's life will be more fun. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone wants to ask or share? Anyone else? Or any more question in the chat box?
I think the questions in the chat box have been cleared for now.
No more.
Yeah. So sorry. I think we're circling back to Brother Al Chan's question regarding vaccine. Whether is it good wisdom not to be vaccinated due to the many stories of mortality rate?
Mortality of, as far as I know, the mortality rate of those people who are vaccinated is very low. So I don't know which story you heard. The problem is all of us are being brainwashed one way or another by social media. Depends on which channel that you listen to. So you have not much choice. For me, I'm being brainwashed that if you don't get vaccine, the chances of you will die. So you have no choice. So I vaccinate myself because I'm being brainwashed this way. So it depends on which way you are brainwashed. And you have no choice, you'll be brainwashed. So vaccination, to me, you know, you just choose whichever you want to be brainwashed. But if you are brainwashed by those who say don't take vaccine, I guess you have a lot of trouble because you can't go in anywhere. You want to go to shops, so that you are not allowed because you are not vaccinated. Then you will be, this is my okay, because someone who is not vaccinated got very upset when I say that. This is not the government, it's me who say, I think if I don't get vaccinated, I will feel I'm a pariah because everywhere I can't go. Yeah, so this is another, you know, in a sense that you have no choice, you're being brainwashed to vaccinate. So anyway, in life, you will be brainwashed one way or another. So I prefer to be brainwashed by the Dharma. The rest, I don't care because not much difference. Either you are brainwashed to vaccinate or not vaccinate, not much difference. Okay, next question. Bhante, people tend to swing from trying too hard, serious, or too laid back or lazy. How to get a balance in this attempt of being natural in our mind? You just have to experiment. After you experiment, you will know. Okay, actually we can't be too lazy also. You'll be quite surprised. You try not to do anything, just lay back and not to do anything, you won't last long. After that, you will have to do something. Human cannot just lie down and listen and not do anything. Not doing anything is doing something. That is not doing anything. That is one thing, and that's very tough to do. Okay, someone has this marriage with wrong type of person even after following the decision of the heart flow. Is it not wisdom flow? Well, I don't know. Sometimes it's something that you need to go through. Okay, it doesn't mean that, let's say if you go through a marriage and it doesn't work out, it doesn't mean that it's bad, because you might need to learn something from there. I don't know. Okay, it might be you didn't follow your flow of wisdom. We don't know. It might be your flow of wisdom guides you through that kind of learning. I don't know, because different people need different type of learning in their life. Okay, we learn different ways. Of course, preferably we prefer easier way, but I always never forget one of my best monk friend, Swiss German, who says that throughout, he became a monk when he's 60 over years old. He say throughout his life, every time when he's with people who give him trouble, that's the time when he learned the best, the most. Yeah, but having said that, of course, he didn't wish, to have that kind of circumstances also. But looking back in life, he learned the most when he had difficulty. So life gives us learning through different way. So nowadays, this few years recently, I don't see anything as bad or as failure or as anything. I see everything as a learning opportunity. It's just for us to learn. Okay. Sometimes we learn more through difficult time, but of course, like all of you, same with me, we want to choose easy way. But sometimes it's not our choice, Could Bhante elaborate on the emotional blockage that you mentioned when you said you can have many Dharma knowledge, but blocked by the emotional blockage prevent us all? Sometimes we have some sadness or some anger that is trapped inside us. So this is what I call emotional blockage. How to clear? Again, maybe you got to do something that allow you to relax and release, and maybe smile more to help. But you need to let that blockage relax out. Otherwise, when it's held inside there, whatever Dharma you come, it's only reach here only, because your emotion don't allow you to accept this Dharma. Okay. Would someone ask, would sudden arrival of sad thoughts arisen due to ripening of certain unwholesome karmic, please? Probably, but I don't go into that thinking. Again, I have shared many times, I don't see karma as bad karma as a curse to punish us. I see every karma as an opportunity, as a condition for us to learn. So when sad thoughts come, it's opportunity for us to learn that our sad emotions come from these sad thoughts. And now for us to train to see that and not to follow on these sad thoughts. So for me, everything is a learning experience. Of course, I still get angry and get upset and get frustrated and get all that. But I use that to see where all this emotion come from my thoughts. Okay. And again, I share many times that doesn't mean that I eliminate anger because I see this. I still can get angry for some time, can maybe half an hour or more, until I still can continue getting angry. But even I see I can continue get angry, but it's not a problem because I know where my anger comes from. Sooner or later, the angry thought will run out of fuel and I will stop getting angry. So it doesn't mean that when you see this, you become a saint and no more anger and so on. No, but you have less problem because now you know where your anger, your sadness come from. So it makes a lot of difference. Okay. I think we finished here unless you have one last question.
Any more questions, brothers and sisters? Okay, so
okay, we will end here.
I think we end here, Bhante.
Okay. So we will share merits with all the devas, all the Dharma protectors, all the guardian deities, share merits with all the family members, relative friends, and make aspiration always with the wise, avoid the foolish, be free from greed, hatred, delusion. Etawata chamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabe dewa numodantu sabba sampati sitya. Etawata chamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabe buddha numodantu sabba sampati sitya. Etawata chamehi sampadang punya sampadang sabe sata numodantu sabba sampati sitya. Idame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame punyang asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idame punyang nibbana sa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabasatanang pajema. Te sabe me samampunya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Next week, Friday, will be back to normal. We should be back to normal already. So next week, Friday is on.
Okay, good night.
Night.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Bhante.
Sadhu.